Hello, I'm Sifu Lamar Davis II. I would like to welcome you to my series on Bruce Lee's martial art, Jun Fan Jeet Kune Complete. The purpose of these instructional videos is to go more in depth than anyone previously has into the study of Bruce Lee's fighting method. In these tapes, not only will you see the how, but you'll see the why and the when. Most of you have probably seen books and other instructional videos on Jeet Kune Do. Certain elements of these books, certain elements of these videotapes probably sort of left you in the dark. You could not tell by the photo sequences how the technique would actually be applied, or you could not tell by the video all the various ways that a technique could be used. In this series, we will go extremely in-depth onto all areas of training. My background in Bruce Lee's fighting method goes back to the mid-70s. I trained with 8 of Bruce Lee's original students. I'm very familiar with the material from the Seattle period, the Oakland period, and the Chinatown period. I've written articles for Black Belt, Inside Kung Fu, Inside Karate, with many more to come. In 1991, I was inducted into the World Martial Arts Hall of Fame as the Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Instructor of the Year. I think you'll see, when you watch these tapes, that myself and my students definitely know what we're doing. I think you'll learn a lot from the tapes if you study them carefully and train hard. I'm the Executive Director of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance. If you're not already a member and you are seriously interested in Bruce Lee's fighting method, membership is something that you may want to consider. Student membership is only $25 per year, renewable each year in the month that you originally joined. You get a newsletter, you get special offers, discounts on instructional videotapes like this one, and many other things that are not open to outsiders. We also have training camps each year, usually 2 or 3 times a year, for anyone who's interested in becoming an instructor of Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do. We promote the original method as taught by Bruce Lee. Where Bruce Lee died, that's where we end. We do, however, encourage, once you have completed our program, if you would like to go out on your own and maybe even go into the concepts route, that's fine. But many people were never given the chance to learn what Bruce Lee originally had to offer. That's the purpose of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance. We want to give you that chance. If you're interested in membership, you can write to me, Sifu Lamar Davis II, at 267 West Valley Avenue, suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama, zip code 35209. We will send you an application and we will send you some information. If you would like to call about seminars or membership, area code 205-664-5425. You'll reach the office of my training academy, the Fighting Dragons Chinese Martial Arts Academy, which is the most complete Chinese martial arts training facility in the state of Alabama. If you're interested in USJKDA membership, please contact me and become a part of everything that we're doing. I would like to talk to you a little bit about the history of Jun Fan Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do. As most of you probably already know, Bruce Lee started out training in the system of Wing Chun. He trained in Hong Kong under the tutelage of Yip Man and 2 of his primary students, Wong Shun Lung and Chung Chuk Hing. Most of you know Chung Chuk Hing as William Chung. When Bruce first came to the United States, what he taught was primarily Wing Chun with a little bit of kicking and other techniques from some of the other systems of Chinese Kung Fu, primarily Northern style Chinese Kung Fu kicking due to the fact that most of the kicking in the Wing Chun system consisted of from the waist down. Bruce wanted to broaden his kicking and make his use of the legs much more functional for combative purposes. During the Seattle period, Bruce taught such prominent people as Taki Kimura, Jesse Glover, James DeMille, Joseph Cowles, who was one of my instructors. Today, you can closely see what Bruce was teaching during the Seattle period by watching such people as Jesse Glover. Jesse has a series of tapes out that are excellent that cover certain aspects of non-classical Chinese Kung Fu. Jesse was also one of my instructors. When Bruce left the Seattle period, the Oakland period began. He resided in Oakland, California with James Yim Lee, who became one of his most ardent students. James Lee was responsible for building a lot of the training equipment that later was made famous by Bruce. During the Oakland period, you saw the addition of several techniques from boxing. You saw the addition of some fencing footwork and fencing defensive theory. You also saw some elements from certain other aspects of martial arts integrated into Jeet Kune Do. Basically, it was the Oakland period which the term Jeet Kune Do came into use. From the Oakland period, Bruce went to LA Chinatown and opened a school there. From the Chinatown period, certain prominent students that you will recognize would be Dan Inosanto, Ted Wong, Jerry Poteet, Daniel Lee, people of this nature. During this period, Jeet Kune Do reached its highest level of development and became a very, very, very combative system, as it always had been, but some of you have probably heard of a conflict that Bruce had during the Oakland period that forced him to make some changes in the original Junfan Kung Fu. Thus, Jeet Kune Do was born. Many people have referred to Jeet Kune Do as Chinese Kung Fu. Many people have referred to it as Chinese kickboxing. That's not really the important thing here. The important thing is that you realize that it was the method founded by Bruce Lee. Now, in this series of tapes, I intend to cover the techniques from the Seattle period, the Oakland period, and the LA Chinatown period in depth. Tapes in this series will be basics, like basic foundation movements, which will cover stance, defensive theory, basic concepts, things of that nature. You will see a technique on tape on hand techniques, a tape on kicking techniques. You will see tapes on the 5 ways of attack, basic trapping, advanced trapping, energy and sensitivity training, Seong Chi Sao, which is the double arm sticking. You'll see a tape on Seong Chi Sao with trapping and grappling. You'll see a tape on basic Jeet Kune Do self-defense techniques. You'll see a technique on grappling, a tape on grappling and counter-grappling. So these are some of the tapes that you'll see in this series. If you study them closely, you can learn quite a bit. And hopefully, if you acquire the entire series, you will be able to obtain a much more complete knowledge of Bruce Lee's art than you have at the present time. I think you'll enjoy the series, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I hope that I can meet all of you in person one day and train you one-to-one. At this point, we'll get started. Hello, welcome to Junfan Jeet Kune Do Complete, Volume 4, Lower Body Tools. In this tape, we will be covering all of the lower body weapons used in Junfan Jeet Kune Do. We will be covering kicks, knee strikes, and shin strikes. Okay, the reason that we refer to these weapons as tools is because Bruce Lee referred to the body weapons as the tools of the trade. So, in this tape, we'll be concentrating on lower body tools. I want to start out by explaining to you some of the basic differences between Junfan Jeet Kune Do kicking structure and the kicking structure seen in other martial arts. One of the first things that we emphasize is the lack of a chamber. Okay? What I mean by a chamber is the pulling up of the knee before a kick is struck. Okay? As in a side kick. Okay? So, I pull the knee in, I extend the kick, I bring it back, I touch down. In Junfan Jeet Kune Do, we consider this wasted motion. This is telegraphic movement. It's like saying, I'm going to kick. Okay? Seen from the side, it would look like this. You have the chamber, the extension, the rechamber, and return to stance. Look at the time that's wasted there. Look at the movement that's wasted there. In Junfan Jeet Kune Do, we advocate following a straight line to the target. So, in other words, instead of chambering like so before a kick, I just extend the kick. Like so. So the kick thrusts directly into the target as opposed to chamber, kick, rechamber, touchdown. Okay, the other element that I want to talk about here is what we refer to as kicking off the lead leg as opposed to kicking off of the rear leg. In most arts, you'll see them in their fighting stance. They'll fire the kick off the rear leg, chambering the knee as they move forward into the kick. In Junfan Jeet Kune Do, most of our striking is done off the lead side, the side that's closest to the opponent. Okay, so instead of putting our power leg to the rear and kicking like that, we put our power leg to the front. So it's closer to the target so you can kick with more economy. And the kick is like so, as opposed to like so. Alright, so that's a very important thing to remember here. Kicking primarily off the lead leg and no chambering of the leg before the kick. The first kick that we're going to cover is the straight kick, or Jeet Kune. In this segment, we're going to cover the Junfan Jeet Kune Do straight kick, or Jeet Kune, as it's referred to in Chinese. This is the simplest, most direct kick that we have in Junfan Jeet Kune Do. Primary targets for this kick are the kneecap, the groin, and then occasionally thrusting to the rib solar plexus region. Now you can fire this kick as high as head high, but that's usually not necessary, nor is it practical. Okay, so I'll go over the basic form for the kick. Seen from the front, notice how the leg just comes straight up the center and returns immediately to the ground. Nothing wasted. Seen from the side. No wasted motion. No pre-chambering of the leg before the kick is fired. Okay. Like I said, you can kick as high as head high, but it's not really necessary. You don't need it. It's good to be able to do for training purposes and increasing your flexibility, but it really has no practical purpose. Okay, at this time I'll be joined by my assistant instructor, Mr. Harry Daniel. He's going to hold a focus glove. He's going to hold the glove about groin high. I'm going to demonstrate the straight kick fired to the groin. Okay, this is just a simple direct delivery with no preparatory footwork. Okay? If I'm a little bit further back from my target, I can step and slide up and deliver the kick. This is what you'll remember from the footwork tape as stealing a step. Okay? I'll show you that from a different angle. Alright, first the direct, right from the fighting stance. Then with stealing a step, closing the gap. Let's do yet another angle. First, direct. Stealing a step. Okay, that's the basic Junfan Jeet Kune straight kick, or jig tech. In the next sequence, we're going to cover the hook kick, or out tech. In this segment, we're going to demonstrate the hook kick, or out tech. This kick is comparable to the round kick, or roundhouse kick, seen in other martial arts, with the main exception being no telegraphic movement like you see in other arts. See how telegraphic that is? It's like, here it comes. Okay? Now, in Jeet Kune Do, the kick is fired just very directly from where the foot is to the target and back. Whip the waist and the hips into it sharply as you rotate the leg to fire the kick in. Your primary contact surface for this kick is the instep. Okay, this kick is used primarily to the knee, the groin, and the rib solar plexus region. Once again, you can go as high as the head, and it's good to have the flexibility to be able to go to the head, but a head kick is not that practical. In fact, Bruce Lee once made the statement that in a real combat situation, he would no more kick you in the head than he would punch you in the toe. Makes sense, huh? Okay, I'll be joined by my assistant now. He's going to hold the focus glove. We're going to start off with the kick approximately knee height. Okay, knee height. Just direct delivery. Okay, up and in. Pivot from the waist and hips, pivot on the ball of the rear foot, torque in, and snap the kick, then return to the floor immediately. Okay, now we'll go to rib solar plexus height. Okay, and we'll go a little bit higher, just to train the flexibility. Okay, now we'll show you some different angles. Groin high. Rib solar plexus height. Once again, as in all kicks, footwork is based on range. If I'm a bit further away, I may need to steal a step. Okay, different angle. Basic delivery. Stealing a step. Okay, thank you, Harry. All right, this kick, like the straight kick previously shown, concentrates more on speed and directness of delivery. In the next sequence, we'll show you the side kick, or jump tech. In this sequence, we're going to cover the jump tech, or side kick. As previously discussed, our kicking structure is very direct. It's the same way with the side kick. I've had people ask me time and time again, how do you get any power with a side kick that doesn't chamber? The power comes from the torque in the waist and the hips and the pivot on the ball of the rear foot. And you thrust the waist and hips into the kick as you deliver. The kick should follow a straight line from where the foot is to the target. To help me demonstrate this, my assistant, Mr. Harry Daniel, will join me on guard right there. A bit closer. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the potential targets for this kick. Alright, basic side kick just comes very direct, right from where the foot is to the target, with the impact area being the heel. Okay? So, I can kick the shin, I can kick the knee, and I can also go quite effectively to the rib solar plexus region. Okay, now you'll notice when I come to rib solar plexus height, there's a bit of bend in the knee. Okay, when I get to this particular height, it's almost impossible to fire this kick without bending the knee if you want to follow a straight line. Because if I didn't bend the knee, I would be kicking in an arc. See how the leg and the foot form sort of a curved motion up in there, and I can't thrust in. So I have to bend the knee in order to follow a straight line into my target. But notice that there is no excess bending of the knee. Okay, so primary targets for this kick are the shin, the knee, and the rib solar plexus region. Prior to the shin, to the knee, to the rib solar plexus, okay, from another angle, to the shin, to the knee, rib solar plexus region. To demonstrate this kick with some power, we'll use the kicking shield. What I'm about to show you is referred to as the burning step side kick. It's the most powerful kick we have in Jeet Kune Do, and one of the most powerful kicks in all the martial arts. To execute this kick, I use what we call a burning step, which you're already familiar with if you saw the tape on footwork and mobility. So this is just a quick step to change my alignment and to bring me into position and to start my forward movement. Then the rear leg is going to shoot past the lead, and I'm going to thrust the kick out. Okay, so basically without any real power, this is what the form for the kick would look like. Okay, now I'll speed it up a little bit, give it some power, let you see what it looks like. Okay, show it to you from a different angle. Here. And one more. Okay, that's the burning step variation of the side kick, which is the most powerful version of the side kick. In the next sequence, we'll demonstrate the back kick. In this sequence, we'll demonstrate the hatek, or back kick. This kick is fired directly from the fighting stance with the rear leg, as if I sighted an opponent coming in to my rear over my shoulder. I would thrust straight back. It's kind of like doing a side kick, kicking behind you. So I sight someone coming in, I deliver the kick. Sight, deliver. Don't just blindly fire the kick. Make sure that you see your target, you know what your target is, and you're prepared to take it. Harry will join me now. I'll demonstrate what this would be like delivered to a person. Okay, back up just a little bit. Okay, if I were facing off against someone who were over this direction, and I turned and I saw Harry moving in from the rear, I would fire the kick just straight up, okay? Like so. All right, coming a little quicker. Okay. Okay. Now this kick is delivered primarily to the rib solar plexus region. It can go as high as the head. That's not really a good idea. Most people lack the flexibility to fire this kick head high. You can also fire it backward, straight back into the knee. I sight him coming in. I kick straight back into his knee. That can be quite effective. We'll show you this from the other side. Okay, now once again, going to the rib solar plexus region, I'm facing someone this direction. I turn, I see Harry moving in from behind, and I just kick straight up and back. Notice once again, no chambering of the leg before I fire the kick. It just goes directly into my target. Okay, like so. And once again, I can use it to the knee. Notice the directness. Nothing wasted. Now Harry's going to get the kicking shield, and we'll put some in there with some power. Closer. This can also be done with some footwork, like I can step and slide to the rear and fire the kick. So I'm facing off someone coming from this direction. I turn, I see Harry moving up behind. Okay, I can use a rear variation of the pendulum to fire the kick behind me. Okay, once again, I turn, I see him coming in, I fire the kick. Okay, we'll show you this from another angle. Closer. Good. Okay. From here, I turn, I see him, and I fire the kick directly into the target. No wasted motion. I turn, I kick. Now we'll give it a little power. Now with footwork. Okay, that's the basic how-tech or back kick. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate joint tech, or spin back kick. This kick is fired directly from the fighting stance off the rear leg with a 180-degree spin. Okay, so from the fighting stance, I sight my target moves into range of the kick, I spin, and I thrust. Okay, so the importance here is the directness of the thrust. Okay, I sight my target, I spin, and I thrust. Okay, now, when delivered to an opponent, this kick is fired primarily into the rib solar plexus region. Harry will join me now. One application of this kick would be proceeding with a hand fake or a hand feint. I fire here. Okay, now you notice when I do this, this draws his hand to a high position, exposing the rib solar plexus region to attack. So from here, from this point, I spin and fire the kick in. So I'm here, alright? So draw the hand high from this position, spin, and thrust the kick. Okay, that would be one example of how this kick would be used. Anytime you can get the opponent to raise their lead arm, this kick can be boom, in there. And this kick is much quicker than you might think. It's very deceptive. Most of the time, they don't expect a kick like this. Harry's going to get the kicking shield. I'm going to fire some in with some power at some different angles. Okay, as you see, the kick is much quicker than you might think. And it does have quite a bit of power. Move back just a little bit. Try to make sure that when you fire this kick, it's a direct, straight line thrust right into the target. Show it to you from a different angle. the basic spin back kick, or Juan-tek. In the previous sequence, you saw the direct spin back kick fired right off the fighting stance. That's fired with 180-degree spin. There's also the possibility of doing the full 360-degree spin back kick based on the situation. All right, Harry's going to join me with a kick and shield, and I'm going to show you that 180 spin back kick again, and then I'll show you the 360-degree spin back kick. You'll see the difference. Okay, with the 180 spin back kick, as we said earlier, from the fighting stance, it's a direct spin thrust, kicking with the rear leg. Okay, that's the 180. All right, now, he's going to take a position like so. I'll demonstrate the movement involved in the 360. In the 360, I start from my fighting stance, I step through across the center line, then I spin and thrust with what was my lead leg. Okay, so we go from here to here to here. Now, as you may guess, with 360-degree spin, you have much greater impact potential. This kick takes a little bit more time to execute, but the impact potential is doubled and sometimes tripled. Now I'll show it with some power. Show you another angle on it. Okay, as you can see, the 360-degree spin back kick has a great deal of power. In the next sequence, we'll demonstrate the reverse hook kick. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate the reverse hook kick. The reverse hook kick is a rather difficult kick. If you don't have a fairly wide range of flexibility, this kick can be a problem for you. What you're doing, from the fighting stance, the leg moves across the center line, and then it comes around in the reverse hooking motion. The striking area for this kick is primarily the ball of the foot. You can use the heel. This is not a power kick. This is more of a speed kick. This is like a hard slap to the face delivered with the ball of the foot. Or if you fire it with a heel, you can even break the jaw with this kick. Okay, the reason it's called a reverse hook kick is because the hook kick, when it's fired, the path that it follows is up and in like so, as you've already seen. Okay, so it comes up and it moves in like this. That's where the term hook comes from. Okay, so the reverse hook kick goes across the center and then comes back in on this line. Okay, so for the reverse hook kick, I move up, across the center, and then come back in. Okay, that's how it works. Of course, this is primarily a head kick. We don't use it that often. Some people don't use it at all because they don't have the flexibility to work it. Harry's going to join me now with a focus glove. Left hand. Okay, now I'm just going to slap the glove with the bottom of my foot on this kick. It's going to be like a quick slap. Okay, another angle. Okay, as you can see, the reverse hook is not a power kick. But when the opening is there, it's a good kick to know. In the next sequence, we'll demonstrate the inverted hook. In this segment, we're going to demonstrate a little kick that we call the inverted hook kick. Okay, inverted hook kick, or quartet. Alright, this kick comes across the line and the foot flips over and fires in. Like this. A lot of people have a hard time with this kick. It's actually a very simple kick. The idea is to move the knee toward the target, point the knee away, and then fire the foot on that line. If you think of it like that, it's actually very simple. This kick has two primary targets. One target is the inside of the knee. The other target is the groin. Of course, if you have the flexibility, you can even deliver the kick to the rib solar plexus region. Or, if you have extreme flexibility, you might even be able to deliver the kick to the head. But as I said earlier, head kicks are good for training, but they're not very practical for the street. Okay, Harry Daniels is going to join me now. Now, the primary use for this kick is when someone is in an opposite lead. On guard? Okay, now, with me in a right lead and Harry in the left lead, it makes it very hard for me to kick his groin with my lead leg with maximum efficiency because of his lead knee position. Okay, so what I do, I use this inverted hook to get around his lead knee and take the groin. Then I can follow up with the hands immediately after contact with the groin. So from here to here. Okay? Several things I could do, of course, but we're not talking about hands now. Okay, so from here to here. Okay, another target, if he's facing me a little bit more squarely, another good target is the inside of the knee. Okay, so we got the groin, inside of the knee. On occasion, if he's turned more even straight aligned on me, not square, straight, okay, straight alignment. I may even go rib solar plexus with the kick. And occasionally, if he drops his rear hand, I may even be able to fire to the head. with the kick. Okay, now Harry's going to get a focus glove, and I'll demonstrate the kick on the glove. Okay, glove's going to be groin high. Okay, now the footwork I'm using a stutter step, followed by stealing a step. Okay, I can fire a feint with the hand to further disguise the stealing a step movement. Okay, show you a different angle on it. Okay, I think you can see where this little inverted hook kick is a very effective tool to have in your kicking arsenal. In this segment, I'll be demonstrating the stamp kick, or domtek. Okay, the stamp kick can be delivered in several ways. The simplest way, of course, is just to raise the foot and stamp, okay? Used primarily to the instep. As I stamp down, I can also rake the shin on the way down, following up with the stamp to the instep, okay? Now, the stamp kick can be used as a stop kick or Jeet Kune. If someone fires a kick, let's say I've got a hook kick coming in to my left side here, I could stamp kick right into that hook kick and use it as a stop kick. Okay? I can also step forward and stamp with the kick. Step forward and stamp straight in, as if stamping to the knee. With the rear leg, I can come straight through and stamp the knee, what we call a cross stamp. You'll also hear this referred to as an oblique kick, like so. Okay, so we have just a basic stamp, which is just raise and stamp. You have the rake and stamp, which is where you rake the shin and stamp the instep. Okay, then you have the stamp kick used as a stop kick. Then you have a forward stamp kick coming into the knee, like so. Then you have the oblique kick, or the cross stamp, which can also be executed with the lead foot to stop a kick such as a hook kick coming into my right side. Okay, now I'll be joined by Harry Daniel. We'll show you some of the applications of this kick as they will be done on an opponent. Okay, let's say I move into close range. Let's say I fire a Bill G, or finger jab, which he defends with his lead hand. There it is, an excellent chance to deliver that stomp kick right onto his instep. Okay? So, we're here. Now there I rake the shin and stamp the instep. So here, okay? I can cross stamp or stamp across the center line right into Harry's knee, like that. I can use the cross stamp with the rear leg or the oblique kick to come right into Harry's shin or right into Harry's knee, or in an extreme case, if I could get him to raise his lead arm into his hip or into his kidney rib area. Okay, so the cross stamp can go higher. Okay, let me show you some things from another angle now. Okay, basic stamp kick, just stamp. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, rake and stamp, which would be here. Okay, stamp kick to the knee, which would be here. Cross stamp or oblique, which would be here. to the knee, or here to the shin, or once again with the elbow slightly up, right into the hip, or right into the rib kidney area. Okay? Once again, basic stamp, rake and stamp, stamping right into the knee, oblique kick or cross stamp into the knee, into the shin, if the arm raises slightly, into the hip joint, or once again, into the rib or kidney area. Okay, the stamp kick is a very effective tool in Junfan Jeet Kune Do. It's very simple and has multiple uses. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate the Shin Smash, which is the use of the shins as a lower body weapon. Okay, Harry will join me with the targets here. Okay, now, first we're going to demonstrate the use of the lead leg for a Shin Smash. Okay, in this case, I'm going to step off at an angle with this leg and then bring it in there. Okay, so I'm here. Okay. Or I could slide up and bring it in like so. Okay, this is somewhat like a hook kick, except for the impact area is the shin as opposed to the foot. Okay, the target would be, of course, the sciatic nerve, which runs along the rear portion of the thigh. The outer rear portion of the thigh. That's the primary target. Then using the rear leg to strike. From here, step and smash. Step and smash. Step and smash. Step and smash. Step, smash. Step, smash. Okay? Now, as I stated earlier, normally we don't use the rear leg in Junfan Jeet Kune Do, but occasionally it does come into play. Usually it would be like lead kick, rear kick. Usually I would do like a step kick to the knee and touch down and do the rear shin smash into the sciatic nerve area. In the next sequence, we're going to demonstrate how we use the knees in Junfan Jeet Kune Do. In this sequence, we're going to talk about the use of the knees in Junfan Jeet Kune Do. Okay, I can fire a knee smash off my lead leg. I can fire a knee smash off my rear leg. Notice how I sort of use my hands as a little practice target here. So I can come in with the rear, I can come in with the lead. Now I can fire these knee smashes either straight up or I can come in on an angle with them. Of course, this would depend on the positioning of my opponent. Okay, Harry's going to join me now with the kicking shield. I'm going to demonstrate some of the applications of the knee. Normally a knee smash is preceded by some type of stepping movement. So in this case, I'm going to use just a direct vertical knee smash. Okay, now notice when I do this, I'm going to be using the top of the shield to put my hands. Okay, what this would simulate would be trapping a part of the opponent's body, okay, such as a shoulder or a head. Trapping the shoulder or trapping the head with one or both hands in order to make the smash more effective and to keep the opponent from escaping from the smash. Okay, so the direct vertical knee smash delivered off the lead leg would look like so. I step, I slide up, I deliver the smash. Okay? I'm using the rear leg. I step, boom, and I thrust. Boom. Boom. Okay? I can fire these in on an angle, like so. Okay, so I can step. Whoo, 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 whoo. See, now I'm not coming straight up. I'm coming in on an angle. Now with the rear leg. Whoo, 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 whoo. Okay. As you can see, the knee is a very devastating weapon. It's hard to practice the knee. It doesn't seem to feel right against most striking targets. Feels real good on the human body though. In the next segment, I'm going to demonstrate some secondary kicking techniques. The kicking techniques previously covered are what we refer to as our primary kicks. We have 8 primary kicks in Jeet Kune. All other kicks are considered secondary kicks. These secondary kicks, they all have their time and place, but they're used actually very little. It's just sort of like, well, if the time is there, I'll use it. If it's not, I don't even think about it. Okay, that's how it works. Some examples of this would be like an outside crescent kick, which strikes on a crescent pattern and fires in with the outside edge of the foot, or an inside crescent kick, which strikes on, once again, the crescent pattern, fires with the inside edge of the foot. Something like a spinning heel kick, like that. It's got a lot of flash to it. Wouldn't have a chance to use it that often, but who knows, the chance might be there, so we might use it. An axe kick, which rises and then falls on the target with the heel. We might occasionally use that. So there's a lot of techniques that are considered secondary kicking techniques that we don't use that often. Another thing that we didn't actually cover is the use of the rear leg. Everything that's applied with the lead leg can be applied with the rear leg. And as I said earlier, there's a time and a place for everything. So you may open up with a kick, or maybe even 2 kicks off the lead leg, and then bring a shot in with the rear leg. Okay? Usually we disable with a lead leg shot before we bring the rear leg into play because of the greater amount of time necessary, because of the greater distance that the rear leg has to travel. Example would be like a rear leg hook kick. See, we still follow a more direct path with it. Just find it in there, just bring it in kind of slow so you can see it. As you can see, I don't go chamber, kick, re-chamber, touch down. It's just kind of out there. Okay, the rear leg straight kick can be occasionally applied. Wouldn't use it that much though. Like I said, all these are just secondary kicking techniques. Take a primary kicking technique, put it on the rear leg, use it, it becomes a secondary kicking technique. Primary goal is to use the lead leg, which is closest to the target, to take out the opponent as quick as possible. Harry's going to join me now. I'm going to show you some kicking application for some of these secondary kicks. He's just going to stand here and just give me kind of a body to strike at. Okay? Outside crescent kick fires into the side of the head, like so. Inside crescent kick uses the inside edge of the foot, comes into the side of the head. Okay? Rear leg kicks, such as the rear leg straight kick, coming in, thrusting to the rib solar plexus region. Rear leg hook kick, raise the arm, fired into the rib or kidney area. Like I said, usually these would come following a lead leg kick. Okay. Other examples of these secondary kicking techniques would be, as mentioned earlier, the spinning heel kick. Back up just a little bit, okay? From here, okay, that's a little bit showier than we like to get. In Jeet Kune Do, we concentrate primarily on simple, direct, and effective. In the next sequence, we're going to talk about multiple kicks. In this sequence, I'm going to cover what we refer to as multiple kicking techniques. Okay, we divide this into what we call double kicking and triple kicking. Okay, this is where I would fire 2 kicks off of my lead leg, or 3 kicks off of my lead leg. Okay, this takes place as if it were one motion. In other words, from the start of the first kick to the finish of the second or third kick, I do not put this foot back down. Okay, so I'm firing these kicks in rapid fire. Okay, I'll either be firing 2 kicks or 3 kicks. I'm going to show you some of the basic kicking combinations that we use in Jeet Kune Do for double kicking and triple kicking. Okay, for double kicking, I may use a double hook kick. Okay, I may fire the first one to the knee and the second one to the head. That will look something like this. Okay, 2 kicks, one to the knee, second kick fired to the head. That's an example of double kicking. Taking the hook kick as the example, we'll go right over into triple kicking. This will be firing 3 kicks before I put the foot back down. Okay, now, in this case, I'm going to kick with the first kick to the knee or groin height. The second kick is going to go approximately rib solar plexus. The third kick is going to be approximately head high. And it'll look like this. Okay, that's an example of what we call triple kicking. Now Harry will join me, use him as a target to demonstrate some of the different double kicks and triple kicks that we use in Jeet Kune Do. Okay, back up just a little bit. Okay, now I may fire a side kick to the knee and follow it up with a hook kick to the head. That's one example of a double kicking combination. Okay, I may fire a hook kick to the knee and a hook kick to the head. Okay, I may fire a hook kick to the knee and a hook kick to the rib solar plexus area. Okay, I may fire a triple hook, knee, rib solar plexus, head. Okay, I may fire a side kick to the knee, side kick to the rib solar plexus. Raise your arm a little bit. Okay, as another double kicking combination, I may fire a straight kick to the groin, followed by a hook kick to the head. so. Okay? Show you another angle. Double hook, knee head. Solar plexus head. Groin head. Okay? Just some examples of double kicking and triple kicking. These can be quite deceptive, making them very effective. Okay, in the next segment, we're going to talk about what we call three-way kicking and five-way kicking. In this sequence, we're going to talk about what we refer to as three-way kicking and five-way kicking. Okay, this particular kicking training method originated during the Oakland period. The three-way kicking involves simply firing a straight kick straight forward, a side kick straight out to the side, and a back kick straight out to the rear, doing with both the right leg and the left leg to develop equal skill. For the sake of simple demonstration, I'm going to show it to you with the right leg from both a front view and a side view so that you can understand the principle, the method behind the three-way kicking. Okay, we stand here with the hands on guard in front of the chest. Okay, now in between each kick, there's going to be a little movement that we refer to as a touchdown. Okay, it's where we fire one kick, we touch down. We fire the second kick, we touch down. We fire the third kick. Okay, so three-way kicking looks like this when applied with the right leg. You have one touchdown, two touchdown, three. Okay, one touch, two touch, three. Notice that I keep my hands up the whole time. Okay, from the side, one, two, three. One, two, three. One, touch, two, touch, three, touch. One, touch, two, touch, three, touch. Okay? This is three-way kicking. All right? Ideally, you want to work yourself into a situation where you're trading it off. Right side, left side. Right side, left side. In other words, you fire a straight kick, side kick, back kick with the right leg, then same thing with the left leg. So you'd be doing straight kick, touchdown, side kick, touchdown, back kick, touchdown with the left leg. Okay, now, this is three-way kicking. This is designed to train the balance, the delivery, and to quicken your response time between having to fire two kicks in two completely different directions. This is real good training for multiple attack situations. Okay, so once more, from the front, straight kick, touch, side kick, touch, back kick. Okay? From the side, straight kick, side kick, back kick. Okay? Then there's what we refer to as five-way kicking. Five-way kicking, I fire a straight kick, I fire a hook kick on a front 45-degree angle, then I fire a side kick, then I fire an angular side kick on a 45-degree rear angle, then I fire the back kick. So now we've added two more striking areas, the 45-degree front angle and the 45-degree rear angle, to your straight forward, your 90-degree, and your straight backward, or 180-degree. Okay, so this time we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice once again the touchdown in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now if you're looking at it from the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, Okay? That's 5-way kicking. Alright? I will tell you this time, you have to pardon me for being a little bit slow with this particular drill, but trying to continue with the filming and trying to stay on schedule with this, I was having to deal with an injury to my lower back, which slows me down a little bit. So, once again, 5-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now, you want to develop a skill where you can do this with the right side and the left side repeatedly. In other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, switching back and forth. This will develop a great deal of quickness, and it's also excellent for the conditioning and eventually the speed of your kicking techniques. I hope you've enjoyed Jeet Kune Complete Volume 4, Lower Body Tools. I hope you will join us in Jeet Kune Complete Volume 5, Intercepting Fist and Stop Kicking. Those are the next tapes in the series. For further information on this tape series, you can write to me, Sifu Lamar M. Davis II, care of United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance, 267 West Valley Avenue, suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama, 35209. I'm available for demonstrations, seminars, private instruction, and group instruction. My school, the Fighting Dragons Chinese Martial Arts Academy, is the best equipped Chinese martial arts school in the state of Alabama. We have periodic training camps along with regular training classes and private instruction at the school. For more information, you can write to the address previously mentioned, or you can call area code 205-664-5425. I'll be glad to talk to you about membership in the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance, our training seminars, our training camps, and these instructional videos. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed this tape, and I hope you'll join us for the rest of the series.